Now, if you've been following my channel for a while, you'll know that I tend to favour lightweight, compact, cordless tools so I can reserve my energy for the times when I really need it, which is why I've teamed up with Dremel again, but this time to test a brand new tool, which is the 8150, a brushless, ultralight rotary tool that promises precision and power in a tiny package. But the real question for me is, can this compact tool actually handle all the jobs that I throw at it? Because I've been saving up a lot and I want to see what it can really do. Now, if you are new to rotary tools, here's a quick rundown. You can carve, cut, grind, sand, polish, sharpen, and so much more that you probably even haven't thought of yet with so many different types of materials. But before we get into the fun stuff, let's unbox it and take a closer look. So this is the Dremel itself. It's got a brushless motor, meaning it should last longer. In fact, one of my first combi drills that I had, which was brushed, it didn't last. It's got a very comfortable ergonomic handle, which is part rubber, part plastic. Instantly, it feels much more lightweight compared to my angle grinder or my oscillating multi-tools. In fact, I've since weighed it and it was 420 grams, surprisingly lighter than a can of baked beans. There's a port at the bottom where you charge it with a USB-C cable. It's also 8 volt if you're wondering. Something I really appreciate, which I always find useful, is the built-in light. This one's LED and it's dimmable, and to dim it you turn it on and then you hold the on-off button for a while and you'll see it dim. And to control the speed, there's a dial at the bottom. 0 is off and it ranges from 5,000 to 30,000 RPM. So here, let's just do a little test. And a lock button at the top so you can unscrew it and change the attachment, but to tighten it you'll need a little spanner that comes in the accessories. I'll talk about that in a minute. And it's compatible with all Dremel rotary tool attachments. So I've been doing a bit of online shopping. So let's have a look what else comes with it. It also comes with 20 accessories to help you get started, which all have a 3.2mm shaft or 1/8 of an inch. Oh, and there's a cable to charge it. Oh, and I am sure that most of you know this, but there are so many different attachments available that you can buy for it for so many different uses. And you will get lost down a rabbit hole because I ended up, well, seeing the back of this sheet thinking, oh, a chainsaw sharpening attachment. I'm having one of those. A Dremel detailer's grip. I bought that. And I've bought a vise. And before you use it properly, the first thing the manual tells you to do, other than fully charging it, I did that the night before, is to get familiar with it, particularly at high speeds. So that's what I'm going to do now with some offcuts of different materials, have fun, and then I'm going to get cracking. I think we'll do. Perspex. Okay, so let's test the bits, see what they all do. First up, the 191 carving bit tool. So I'm testing on a scrap piece of plywood on my anti-slip bench hook, and I'm just doing some random engraving, which is carving nicely through the surface or making dot-like texture. I also tested it on rubber lino, as if I was lino cutting, which I found it sped up the process, and it was very easy with Perspex, but at a lower RPM to avoid melting. Next up, the 194 high-speed cutter. This definitely carves deeper. It feels more like a tiny router bit. I found it works better when carving on an angle, as it can chip plywood on the ends, but great for writing, couldn't resist, and removing large voids in lino, and again, very clean on Perspex. Now the 426 cut-off wheel. You'll need to attach this with the supplied mandrel and tighten with a spanner. You can cut thin wood at a pinch if you don't mind scorching marks. I've since bought their 543 for cutting wood, which I'll show you later, but it really shines when cutting metal. Screws, nails, bolts, and it's far more comfortable and controlled than using a heavy angle grinder, which is often overkill. For the 932 grinding stone, this deburrs sharp metal edges nicely. And people often use this for cleaning up metal as well. And it cleaned up and rounded off the edges of my Perspex without leaving any rough edges. And finally, the sanding drums, which I've used the most in the past. I find it's quick, easy and perfect for edges on small areas or tight spaces. But overall, I find it much more comfortable using this in my warm living room than a big angle grinder outside in the cold. Anyway, I'll come back later and run through some of the other bits that you can pick up, but now it's time to do some work. So now I've got comfortable with it, the first thing I want to do is actually trim some of the screws that are protruding. You see here, there's 2 that I needed to trim down because I used screws that were too long. Nice. Next one. Now this is the wall that we want to put chicken nest boxes on, but there's loads of nails on them. When I've tried to get the nails out, it's been hard work. Oops, half of it came off, but it's still protruding, and that is in the way. I'm not messing about with it anymore. Let's use this tool. I knew it'd be a nightmare to get those out. Now, if you're wondering how loud it is, it's not that loud, but I think it's just good practice putting ear defenders on and goggles. And I'm doing it on maximum speed. One done. So now the nails are off, I want to talk about the nest boxes that we're going to be fitting. And they're actually going to be holes cut out of these 25-litre containers. And so once we cut the holes out, I want to mount them to the wall, probably on a piece of wood. And the reason I like this idea, it's cheap, easy, and we're less likely to get bread mite. But first I need to work out a template so I can cut the same hole 4 times. Once I drew my shape 4 times, I used the reinforced cutting wheel and carefully scored around my curve marks on a medium RPM, as this had a lower melting point than the Perspex, and gave it a few passes first before going all the way through to ensure I didn't go off track. Each one took about 8 to 9 minutes to do, and the runtime it gives you obviously depends on the speed that you're using it at, but I got around 35 minutes of continuous use across all 4 pieces. And I found towards the end of the battery life, the tool is more likely to pause when extra pressure is applied. And once it starts cutting out more than your working rhythm allows, a recharge is needed. Anyway, it took about 2.5 hours to charge the device. So I'm now going to sand around the edges. So for this, I'm going to use the barrel sander attachment. Right, we've got a plank, and this is going to be our mounting board for the nest boxes. After fixing my board to the wall with concrete screws, I attached another piece with a 45-degree top edge, then added a matching piece facing downwards to create a French cleat. So when I screwed my containers onto the top cleat using screws and penny washers, which I also made level, plumb and evenly spaced out, I could lift the containers off and take them outside for easy cleaning as and when. Right, remember those cutouts? Well, I had a perch plan, but they were too slippy, so I engraved some crisscross lines to make it more anti-slip while it was locked in the vise. Then cut some perch legs out of plywood with my compact saw, which I sandwiched a structural piece of timber between, then added 2 angled supports. Anyway, instead of mounting a wooden contraption to the containers, which might create a space for red mite to hide, I attached the cutouts to scraps of wood onto the perch itself. Then the fun part, adding hay into the nest boxes, ready for our lady's arrival. So now I've tested all the parts that come in the box. I wanted to try a few optional accessories I couldn't resist buying to see what else the A150 can do. With the 543 wood cutting wheel and the multi-vise holding everything steady, I didn't experience any resistance or scorch marks while cutting wood. However, because the wheel is only 1¼ inches in diameter, I found it's much better suited to cut thinner wood or shaping edges, unlike this thicker 15mm material, which became difficult to maintain a straight cross-cut simply because the handle was just too thick. And wood like this you need to cut from both sides. But now the chickens have a ramp to get through the automatic door. But my favourite extra without a doubt so far is the 565 cutting kit, mainly because you can turn the Dremel into a tiny handheld palm router, which I use to make another anti-slip chicken ramp. And to do this, I clamped a scrap piece of wood with a straight edge as a fence and ran the guide along it to carve clean, straight, parallel grooves. But I've also seen it being used for cutting around sockets in drywall too. The only thing to be aware of with attachments like this though, is that you need to unscrew the LED light to house it. Not a big deal, but it's just worth knowing. So I really wanted to finish the end of this video with chickens in my new space, or in their new space, but due to avian flu restrictions, it means we can't even transport chickens. So instead, I've had to get creative with Dremel again. And I've carved myself a chicken out. Say hello to Chucky the Chuck. Watch this. So let's imagine this straw, wood chip or sand on the floor and hop onto here and then there. Oh. But after giving the A150 a thorough test, hopefully it's given you a good idea of what it can do. But I honestly feel like I've only just scratched the surface. One of the things that I really love about it is that all of the accessories are catalogued in numbers, easy references so you can replace them as and when. And I've also bought extra things like the detailer's grip attachment, which I can't wait to use. That arrived the other day. And the chainsaw sharpening attachment. And there's so many things that I didn't show you, like polishing metal and stuff. And the bit that engraves glass, ceramic or stone. I just feel like the possibilities for it are endless. It's not just about DIYers. There's so many different hobbies out there as well. Anyway, let me know, is a Dremel a tool that you can see yourself using? And if so, what would you use it for? I'd love to hear in the comments, and hopefully I will see you in the next one, probably putting a roof up on that chicken pen. See you in the next one. Bye.